2 of training camp. Get a little bit more information, a little bit more updates on the injuries, a little bit on the field stuff, and the Dolphins signed a corner, but no, it is not the one you're thinking of. What is up, Finn fans? How is everyone doing on this Thursday? Day 2 of training camp is in the books. We have one more day tomorrow, and then it is open to the public on Saturday, the 26th. Just for a reminder, practice starts at 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. like it was last year if you are going out to training camp. So, little update, especially the first one is the most important, is from Byron Matos, the offensive lineman that got injured and was helicoptered to the hospital yesterday. The Dolphins released a statement saying Matos sustained an injury at the end of Wednesday's practice and was transported to Ryder Trauma Center at Jackson Memorial Hospital, where he remained overnight for evaluation and testing. He has movement in his extremities and is in stable condition. He will remain in care of the doctors for continuing observation. Matos' agent told Barry Jackson that he had some movement but not full movement in his right leg. It comes and goes. Good news this morning, Dolphins announced that he has all movement in his extremities, which is absolutely fantastic to hear. It was very scary to hear that he was, lifted out of practice, which you never want to hear that. Today the Jets had a scare with Justin Fields, and luckily for them it's just a toe injury, but a lot of injuries are happening. Speaking of, we do find out that Artie Burns did in fact tear his ACL, so then the Dolphins go out and they sign Cornell Armstrong. This is his agent. He says the Miami Dolphins are signing my client Cornell Armstrong to a 1-year deal. 8-year vet is returning to the team that was drafting him in 2018. I'm going to say this. I don't think this is the corner signing that they are planning on doing. I think this is just more of we're going to fill that empty spot in the secondary with this move. He hasn't played football in 2 years. It's probably a come try out. We just need a body for our wide receivers to go up against. I'm not going to sit here and overreact to this, but they desperately need to go out and get a corner. But I will say this, today was a better day when it came to the secondary. So no presser from Mike McDaniel to start practice, but we did get some pressers from the players afterwards, and no Minkah Fitzpatrick again. Interesting. Now, again, we saw yesterday that, we saw footage and we saw pictures of him at practice, working with the secondary, going through walkthroughs, 7-on-7s, all that stuff, and he looked happy. But him not talking to the media, again, is putting a big fat question mark on why. Is it the whole contract situation, because obviously McDaniel said that they talked to Minkah beforehand and wanted to see if he was okay coming to Miami, and he was yes, and he wants to work with Weaver and all that stuff. So it's not about him not wanting to be here, but what is it that he's not talking to the media? So let's get some on the field stuff now. Tua Tagovailoa had a pretty good day. He completed a 20-yarder to Jalen Waddle, but Kader Kohou prevented a completion on a Tua Tagovailoa pass to Tyreek Hill. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is this right here. Nice breakup. And now I love seeing this because, obviously we know the connection and what Tua can do with Tyreek Hill, but to see Kader get in there and, do what he's doing and really help the secondary makes me feel better, and I'm happy for this, right? It sucks that it's a pass breakup. We all want to see Tua connect with Tyreek Hill, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But I am happy to see that because, again, the secondary is very iffy. But later, Tua hit Hill for 10 yards, his first catch in the early stages of training camp. A few minutes later, Tua hit Hill for 25. So, again, it's one pass breakup, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Tua stinks. But I'm happy to see Kader get out there and do his thing. Tua completed a 25-yard pass to Waddle, who contorted his body to make the catch. Practice ended with a Tua incompletion to Waddle. Kader Kohou had very good coverage on an incomplete pass from Tua to Hill. Kader disrupted Hill's route. Showed you the video. Among Thursday's mishaps, Malik Washington fumbled after completion, and rookie safety Dante Trader recovered, which, again, love hearing that. I love hearing the young guys, especially like anytime I'm going to hear this secondary do well and intercept and whatever. I'm not going to be mad at the offense. I'm going to be happy for the defense because, again, I'm more worried about the corners than I am about the receivers and the quarterback. Waddle dropped what should have been an easy completion over the middle. Penalties, 3 straight plays, a combination of false starts and offsides. 5 more penalties followed later. There were a lot of at least 4 false start penalties. I got some news that'll make me feel better about all these penalties. Devon Achane's speed and burst were on display with 2 long runs that could have gone for touchdowns. Rookie running back Ollie Gordon, the second, made a nifty move to escape a defender on a 4-yard run. But another Gordon run was snuffed out by Quinnen Bell. Center Aaron Brewer remained away from practice and was wearing a compression sleeve on his right leg. Aaron Meyer continues to get work, a lot of work at center. Also, Thursday, Matos and cornerback Artie Burns, who is feared to have torn his ACL. Safety of Fatu Melifanu, who is on the non-football injury watch practice from the sideline. Coach McDaniel said his issue is nothing serious. Defensive lineman Benito Jones wore the orange jersey today, bestowed on the standout in the previous practice. Again, happy to see that. Linebacker Bradley Chubb, who missed last season after 3 major knee injuries in Week 17, was no longer wearing a knee brace that he used during Wednesday's session. Love hearing that. Tight end Tanner Connor, who fumbled yesterday, came back strong Thursday, extended his arm on the sideline for a 20-yard reception from Tua, then a 25-yarder from Zach Wilson. Linebacker Chop Robinson had a quarterback pressure that could easily have been ruled a sack. Linebacker Derek McLendon and defensive lineman Matt Dickerson combined on a sack. Zach Wilson was pretty good, completing a 20-yarder to Tariq Black and a 25-yarder to Tanner Connor. Love hearing that. Eric Uzukama then dropped a long pass from Wilson. Ethan Bonner and Trader had good coverage, but it probably should have been caught. Again, I'm happy to hear Zach Wilson is doing better. Izukama failed to haul in another Wilson pass, but there was good coverage on that play. Wilson overthrew a deep pass to Malik Washington with Patrick McMorris providing very good coverage. Again, it's like a yin and yang. When we are not doing joint practices, it's a yin and yang situation, right? Because you're happy that McMorris and you're happy to see Trader and you're happy to see all these guys, these young guys do well, but and especially Zach Wilson making nice passes. But on the flip side, you're like, come on, Eric, you got to catch these balls, yada, yada. So it's a yin and yang, like I said. Rookie quarterback Quinn Ewers completed a 20-yard pass to Malik Washington. Ewers and a 15-yard pass to tight end Jalen Connors and a 7-on-7 work, but an errant Ewers' pass was nearly intercepted by second-year corner Ryan Cooper Jr. Again, he's a rookie, so I don't expect too much from him. I expect more from Zach Wilson, who's not a rookie. I'll say that. Linebacker Jalen Phillips stuffed Achane for a 1-yard loss on a run play. Very happy about that. New guard Jalen Daniels came off a torn Achilles in Week 4 last season. Participated in 2 sets of team drills after participating in only 1 yesterday. The Dolphins are practicing at 9:15 on Friday and Saturday before taking Sunday off. Saturday's practice is the first open to the public. So again, anyone going Saturday, 9:15 is when it starts. Jalen Wright had a nice cutback on a sizable run. Alec Ingold stood up Jalen Phillips on that play. Bonner had a good play, preventing a completion from Tua to Hill. Again, I'm more happy hearing about Bonner than upset that Tua to Hill didn't connect, because obviously we know that's going to connect. Bell drew a holding penalty on Julian Hill. Come on, Julian. Mo Kamara had a nice play to stop a run in the backfield. Nice to hear his name. Safety Minka Fitzpatrick has appeared to be giving Tua some tips in an animated teaching point discussion. I love that. Absolutely love that. You know, Mika's going to be able to not only help the defense, but help the offense and Tua be like, look for these types of things and yada, yada. So happy to hear that. Jalen Wright flashed his speed on a 15-yard run. Reporters are not permitted to disclose who the first and second teams, but it is safe to say that the corner spot opposite Cater is an open competition. Several players are getting reps with the starters, and Bradley Chubb destroyed Patrick Paul. on a sack. And that is practice. And apparently at the end of practice, before the final 11-on-11 period was, it was interesting to see Tua walk about 40 yards in the defense territory to have a conversation with Mika. They were clearly discussing something Tua was doing because Fitz simulated his left hand drop back. Again, love it. Absolutely love it that they are working in that manner. Also, the whole team did wind sprints after practice. So I think with all the penalties and the mishaps and the drops and everything, again, maybe this is a culture change and the start of the culture change, but they were doing wind sprints and maybe, hey, you guys got to do better. Now we hear from Chop Robinson, Sealer, Patrick Paul, and I think one other person after practice. Again, no Mika Fitzpatrick. Chop said, when you have the front seven doing their job, it is easy for the back end. I hope so. Now, again, maybe the Dolphins are really taking that gamble that the front seven is going to be really good, which on paper, it looks really good. Fully healthy, you got Chop, you got Chubb, you got Phillips, you got Sealer, you got Kenneth Grant, you got the linebacking core, which is deep. So, and even Phillips, the defensive tackle, is pretty good. So you have the talent at the front. I'm just worried that there are ways to counter that type of pressure. Do quick screens, especially if your corners get beat off of the press. So we'll see. Again, I'd rather be surprised than let down, but right now the sky is falling a little bit for me with the secondary. A lot of people are talking about me saying I can't stop the run, but there are a lot of plays out there with me setting the edge. I don't listen to that, Chop said. I wonder who that's a dig at. Might have to talk to that person. Time will tell when you see me there in the preseason talking about setting the edge. I love Chop. I think it's because I played the position, in all honesty, but like Chop, Phillips, and Chubb, like I love. One of my favorites of all time is Jason Taylor. You know, like it's just, I think because I played the position. A lot of people say I can't stop. Oh, I already read that. Talking about Patrick Paul, he says he's a big guy. He who can move for his size. He's got long arms. It's a battle every day. Then they show Patrick Paul, and Joe Shad said Patrick Paul at 6'7" accidentally hit the branches of some trees while making his way to Dolphins media setup, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I will say this though, as someone who's 6'5", so I'm like 2 or 3 inches shorter than Patrick Paul. There's so many times where I'm walking down the block, I get so mad that people don't trim their trees because I have to like duck under it and stuff. Like, again, if you're going to be at camp for the 20th or 21st, you'll see me. I'm a giant man, so it's funny. Patrick Paul said about Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, we're getting after it every single day. It's going to be fun. He says, I love this game. I love what it brings. It always has been my dream. So it's like Groundhog Day every day. Every day I'm getting excited, which I love. Oh, Zach Wilson was the other one. He thinks the number 0 is unique for a quarterback, and he plans to stick with it, which, cool. I would love to see Zach Wilson. Again, I'm so pumped for the 10th because I want to see what Zach Wilson can do in this offense, and I want to see what him and Quinn Ewers are going to do because those are your 1-2s. I will be shocked if Tua plays against Chicago. Tua will probably play against Detroit. I'm excited to see that. Then they talked to Sealer, and Sealer didn't have a comment on whether he's outplayed his current contract, said he's keeping those talks between him and the team. He added that what's most important to him is being out there with his teammates. He missed OTAs, but present for minicamp and training camp. Sealer on where he stands with his contract. This is what he said.
So fortunate to have the time I've had here.
Hold on,
God's blessed me with amazing seasons here in Miami.
You can't even hear it.
I'm so fortunate to have the time I've had here and continue to have here. Obviously, all that stuff is between me and the team.
Oh, it's essentially what he said before.
Getting out there.
Sorry, it's super low anyway. Sealer on rookie defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. He says he's willing to learn. He wants to learn. What he said to me as a rookie in Baltimore is to be a sponge. I try to rely that to every rookie. He says, I never have ever since elementary school, talking about swearing. He says, check the tape. Apparently Christian Wilkins, the pepper to his salt, was a potty mouth. Asked about his contract, money, and respect. Dolphins defensive tackle Zach Steeler says he does believe he does believe his best years are ahead of him, due in part to the limited reps in college and early in his NFL career. They have to lock this man up. I want him to retire a Dolphin. Like, he's a guy that you build around. He is a guy that, if you're talking about culture, that is the guy you want in the locker room. So they have to keep Steeler. As he feels respect from the team will come and that he has earned it. I agree 100%. Chop Robinson, a little more from him, is pumped to have Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips back with him amongst Dolphins edge rushers. In the case of Chubb, he'd be playing with him for the first time this season. And this is from Barry Jackson. He said, what struck today by Zach Wilson talking about feeling good about a coach, McDaniel, who really likes him. He was referring to previous coaches. He appreciated Sean Payton as an example, but that confidence from McDaniel helped boost Tua. Can it work with Wilson, who has the talent? And again, you kind of saw it with the Jets. He didn't really have it. So we'll see. We'll see how this all pans out. But absolutely, absolutely love hearing the young guys getting some work today and the young guys doing their thing. I'm happy to hear about the injury updates. I'm not happy to hear about Artie Burns. I'm holding my reservation with the Cornell signing. Again, I think it's just a camp body, and I think the Dolphins are still going to go out there and get a Rasul Douglas or someone like that, someone that, they could put at the number 2 spot or put next to Kader Kohou, and us Dolphin fans will feel way more comfortable going into the season. Because again, I'm not saying Rasul Douglas is Darrelle Revis in his prime, but if the front seven does get the pressure they get, having a vet like Rasul Douglas being able to not get beat off a press or get beat off the block will make me feel a lot better. So comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I will say this real quick. I am also uploading this onto the podcast. So you might be listening to this on the podcast. And if you are, go over and subscribe to the channel, and also subscribe to the podcast. The podcast is linked in the description. You can find it anywhere you find podcasts. Just look up DouglieDoWrong. I think it's called, it's linked in the description, but I think it's called DouglieDoWrong, the Miami Dolphins podcast or something like that. But yeah, I'm being more consistent on putting this stuff audio-wise on the podcast. So if you are driving and you want to listen, you can also listen there. And I might start putting some just podcast stuff special just for the podcast on there, where I could just sit and ramble on for an hour and you guys can listen to it. So link is in the description for the podcast. I think I have the Spotify link in there. Go follow it, review it, give it 5 stars, let everyone know. And I will see you guys tomorrow for day 3 of training camp. But like usual, stay classy and fins up.